Hey guys. Yes, I am the most indecisive person in the world. First, I did a video, a beauty news video, and all I talked about in that video was the Morphexjamescharles palette and the Kylie Cosmetics liquid lipsticks. And then I came back a few days later and said, I don't think I'm going to get that Morphe palette. Then I changed my mind and was going out of my mind trying to find the palette and was getting so frustrated because it was sold out everywhere. Well, if you have been trying to find this palette too and you've been unsuccessful thus far, don't give up because Ulta has been doing restocks, and the last time I checked, they also had restocked on the Morphe website, on the Ulta website, and the stores are getting restocks too. So the first wave of palettes came through, sold out, and then they must have made more and sent them out. So anyway, I was able to get it. So here it is. And if you are somebody that throws away packaging, don't. Because number one, how can you throw that away? That is so beautiful. Look at that picture. Stunning. But the other reason, which is equally important, is on the back of the box, it's going to tell you exactly which shades are what formula. There are two different formulas in this palette. One is a pressed pigment and the other is not. And if you are interested in this palette and you haven't bought it yet, I would strongly recommend that you watch James's video where he talks about the formula, and because this isn't a typical eyeshadow palette. They definitely tweaked with and changed the formulas so that they don't perform like normal eyeshadows. So that's something important to keep in mind. So, yeah. Alright, this is not a review video because I have not used this palette yet. I thought it would be fun to do like a try-on video and use it with you. So, I've actually already done all my makeup except for my eyes. And, yeah, so I thought that that would be fun to do. Let me show you the palette. So this is what the front of it looks like. It just says Morphexjamescharles, and I guess that's his signature. And then on the inside cover it says Unleash Your Inner Artist. And if you do any looks with these palettes, James wants you to put on his social media hashtag Unleash Your Inner Artist so he can see the looks that you create with the palette. Then there's a plastic overlay with the names. And I wish they had put the names on the palette. I don't mean to whine or anything, but I don't like those plastic overlays. I really wish they had put the names on the palette, but I guess that keeps the cost down and makes it a lot easier for them to make these if they don't have to etch the names onto the palette. This is $39 for 39 eyeshadows. So there it is. There's a few marks on some of them because I was swatching. I couldn't help myself. In a perfect world, you would have been seeing this without a mark on it, but I just couldn't wait to dip my fingers in there. Now, this is James's vision of the perfect eyeshadow palette. This is not my vision. If I was making a palette like this, that had this many shades, I see some glaring omissions here. And this is one of the reasons why I kept changing my mind about whether I was going to buy this, because when I saw it released, when I saw like the unveiling of it, I looked at it and I was like, oh, I felt a little bit let down because, like I said, this is not my vision. But after thinking about it some more, you know, I have the Morphe 350 palette, I have the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, and I was like, I can't not get this because it does look like you could create a lot of different looks with it. But if I had been creating this palette, I would like to have seen some shades to go with those shades on the bottom rows. Those 2 rows on the bottom. The only thing you can really do with those is do a rainbow look, because what he did here, the 2 top rows are all warm shades, and then that middle row will pair nicely with them. But the 2 bottom rows, what are you going to put with those? There's no transition shades in this palette, not for my skin tone anyway. There's no grays, there's no taupes, there's no, there's nothing that I can put in the crease with those 2 bottom rows except each other. So I was kind of disappointed with that, yeah. If you are of a deeper skin tone, then you can use those big shades in the middle row there, but they've got like these skin color shadows, but then you get over here and they've got a yellow. Well, you know, if your skin is really warm, I guess that will work, but this shade right here is not matte. Otherwise, I could have used that. But that's his giant highlight shade right there. And then that's a white. So, yeah, that's the only thing, is I would rather have seen him maybe made one of the smaller shadows up here a small white, and then put like these skin tone shades go across, and then do like a couple of pink tone colors for us pinky skin people. So yeah, that's the only thing that I was kind of disappointed with. But like I said, this is James's vision of a palette, so this is his baby, not mine. So maybe someday some guru out there will make something similar to this, but with some cooler things incorporated so that you can pair it up with those ones on the bottom. Okay, let's see. Okay, so like I said before, I already have all my products on with the exception of my eyes, and I have already primed my eyes so that I can dive right into this. And I'm just going to do something fairly simple here today. I'm going to use like 2, 3, 4 at the most shadows, and just do something very basic because I'm testing this out for the first time, so I'm kind of curious about what an everyday look would look like with this palette. And then I have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday to really dig in and play around with tons of different looks, because when my husband's home, I don't make videos, so he's off Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So when I come back next week, I should be able to give you a better idea of you know, how it worked out. But for today, I'm just going to do something really simple. So I'm going to begin with I had brought out too many brushes on purpose in case I needed them, and then I couldn't find the one I wanted in the big pile. This is a Morphe blending brush from the Islay kit. I thought it would be appropriate to use Morphe brushes with Morphe shadows. And I'm going to go into this shade right here. No. I'm going to go into this shade right here because this is the closest thing to a crease shade or a transition shade, either one, in this whole palette. That's the closest thing that is in here that is a matte shade that is closest to my skin tone. So I'm going to start off by putting some of that in the crease. And I'm just going to tap my brush in there. Whoa. a lot of product came off onto the brush. Oh, and that shade is called, now I have to look at the plastic overlay. This is why I don't like these things. It's called Punch Me. In James's video, he explains what each of the names mean. So let's see how this works out in the crease. I'm going to start on the outside edge, just like I always do, making small circles working inward. And then work my way back. And then I like to put a little bit on the outside part of the lid area so that we're doing like the outer V. Okay, it's blending really nice. It seems to be pretty pigmented. And this color is working out fine as a matte crease shade. Well, thank goodness. Because I really wasn't sure if any of these colors in this palette were going to work for me. Yeah, I wish that this had been one of the large circles, though, so that I could use that with, you know, more of the shadows without worrying about it running out. Yeah, right, like I've ever gone through a whole eyeshadow in my life. So this, on me, this is like a tan shade. So that's fine as far as a crease shade goes. But it certainly wouldn't be a transition shade because it'd be too dark for that. But it's okay for a crease shade. Okay, so it went on darker on that side, so I'm going to have to add a little more over here to even it out. So these build nicely. And like I said, if you want to know which ones are pressed pigments, you can refer to the box for that information, because they're not necessarily the ones that you would think would be pressed pigments. So I'm just making sure that I get that blended really well. Okay. Now let us move on, and oops, the next shade that I'm going to use is called Sister. And that is this shade right here, and it's not, you can't tell on camera, but it's a shimmery shade, and it's sort of a peachy, a light peach color, reminiscent of something like MAC Naked Lunch or Urban Decay Sin, just for frame of reference. And I'm going to take this large shader brush from the Morphe Iceland kit and pack some of that on the brush and pop that on the lids. Yep, that's what it reminds me of, definitely. Naked Lunch or Sin. Very pretty. Okay, so the first one was matte, and that applied and built up nicely. This one is shimmery and is going on very easily. Yeah, I was originally going to do something, you know, wild and crazy and everything, and then I thought, no, let's do an everyday look first. Let's start simple and work our way up to the crazy stuff. Because this is the type of thing that a lot of people would be using on a day-to-day basis. These are the colors that a lot of people would gravitate towards. Just going to put a little bit more on. Okay, and I don't have a Morphe brush in this size, so this is just an Essence brush. Doesn't have a name or a number or anything, but I'm going to use this for my highlight shade. And he's got this huge pan here of the shimmery gold color, so I thought I would use that as my highlight. So I'm just putting a little bit of that on the brush and just going right on the brow bone area. It's a little dark for my skin tone. There are other options in the palette for shimmery golds. There's that one. But where this was the larger pan, actually I think this larger pan one is lighter. And what is the name of this? It's called Face. Yeah, this is a little bit deep of a shade to show up on my skin tone. I'm gonna go with it though. I'm gonna put some of this in the inner corners. Yeah, that doesn't really show up that well on my skin tone, but it is what it is, right? Okay, so I want to do another shade. I'm gonna go with 4 shades here. So let's see, what would be the logical choice here? Probably one of these deeper skin tone shades would work. Maybe this like deep peach shade. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, I'm gonna pick up a clean blending brush then from another brand. This is MAC 217 brush. And I'm gonna just put just a little bit of this on the brush because this is, these shades are very pigmented, so you have to be careful. And I'm just gonna run that right into that crease, like deeply. And then brush it on the outside of the lid. So I want that other shade to peek up above this one. So I'm trying to get right in there. Okay. Next, I'm going to take the small pencil brush that comes in the Morphe Eyeshadow kit, and I'm going to pick up some more of that orangey shade and run that right along the lower lash line. This one. Did I tell you the name of that? Code James is the name of that orange one. Okay, I'm going to blend this out a little bit more with this larger blending brush from the Morphe Eyeshadow kit. I'm going to go right on the edges, make sure this is blended out nicely. And I like the way this one came out in terms of where I went inward. This one needs to come in a little bit further on the lid there. So I'm going to fix that, apply my eyeliner and mascara, and be right back. So this is the finished look. I wouldn't say that this look sister slays, but that's because I wanted to do a look that was sister simple. But I can tell you one thing, I am sister satisfied with my palette. I do enjoy this so far. Like I said, I'm going to play with this over the next 4 days, and when I come back next week, I will let you know my final thoughts on this. But so far, I think this is very nice, and I'm glad I bought it. I'm going to have a lot of fun trying out some more dangerous, wild looks over the next 4 days. Probably not tomorrow, though. I'm going to do something Thanksgiving-y. Actually, this would have been Thanksgiving appropriate, I think, you know, because it's a little bit out there, but pretty sister simple, like I said. All right, thanks for watching, you guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button. And have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I will hopefully see you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching.